Hey everyone, welcome to my final video. Just a quick disclaimer, because I have to sort of reach across the layout to film all these different scenes, and I'm only using a little action cam. I don't have a regular video camera that has anti-shake and that kind of stuff built into it. So you'll notice that as I'm doing my videos, I tried to keep it as steady as possible, but there's going to be some shaking. So if that bothers you, then don't watch the video. But I tried to keep it as still as possible, but I was using a selfie stick to kind of extend across the layout where I couldn't reach to kind of show you all the detail in my final video. So I know they're shaking, there's nothing I can do about it. I don't have a camera that has that capability, so hopefully it's good enough and it's the best I could do with it. But just warn you ahead of time in case that stuff bothers you visually. Then probably shouldn't watch the video. Okay, so let's get started. Hey everyone, welcome back. It's been a while since I did my last video. Got involved with some home improvement projects that just took up the whole summer and last year, and I just started working on the layout again in January. And this is red letter day here because I have finished the layout. So all my basic scenery, everything is down, and I'm pretty much done. So this is going to be my final video on the actual scenery. We'll have some upcoming videos on actually running some trains now that we actually have the layout finished, and a couple things with the Lionel control system for recording sequences and all that kind of stuff. But as far as the scenery goes and the actual building of the layout, I'm pretty much finished. You can always add some more people and cars and trees and things like that, but I don't really need to. It's at its completion point, and little things added here and there in the future are fine, but all the major construction is done. So with that, we'll kind of start off where we left off on the last video, and then show you all the new stuff that's happened, and then we'll turn the lights down, show you all the night scenes, and finish it out from there. So let's get started. Alright, so let's start at the back of the layout here where this all was unfinished before. So you can see here we've got the police department. So we've got some squad cars in the front here. You can see we've got a guy being arrested here, taking in. I added some little lights to the front of the building actually that were not lit before, so little LEDs in those lights around the door. And then you can see we just have a sort of a street scene here. And then next to it we've got the Wise Guys Pizza. And I don't know if you can see him here, but we got a little pizza delivery guy. And then we have the construction scene here of this skyscraper. So we have this skyscraper sort of going up here, and then at the bottom we have all kinds of construction workers. We got a backhoe going on, digging up the street here. There's all kinds of details in the back here. Even at the top here we've got some welders that are welding. So if we look down from the sort of the end here, you can see we got some concrete barriers here, and then down the street got some flashing barricades, which are kind of cool. And that's sort of the construction scene. Over here we have an apartment building, so we converted one of the MTH buildings to an apartment building here. Just sort of made a sign for the front of it. And again, just adding figures and people and everything to the scene. Over here we got the OK used car. So we got a used car dealership here. I don't know if you can see inside there, but we've got some cars inside the showroom there. Added some lights to the outside. And then right next door we have the classic McDonald's. So this I actually took off the base that came with it, and I actually just made my own concrete base for it, just so I could arrange it and save space. And again, some street scenes here. On the corner right across from McDonald's we have a coffee shop, the Daily Grind coffee shop. And then if we pull back here a little bit, you can see I've got some street lights here. So these street lights at this intersection, basically they'll change from green to yellow to red every so often, and then the opposite side changes to the opposite direction, just like real street lights. So that's kind of cool. And then over here we have the fire station. So this is kind of like a reminiscent of the 1970s show Emergency. It's kind of like the same type of 70s modern style fire station. And got a couple of ambulances here, fire trucks, flashing lights, and a little wind turbine on the top moving. And then in the back here where we had the passenger station before, we've added our sort of a little parking lot in front of the passenger station. And that goes up to the overhead bridge that passengers can walk across to get to the other side. And just little things like this brick wall going around here to sort of corner off that corner of the intersection. And I basically just filled in this section here that I didn't have completed before, so just more details. Now from this point forward here, where the gas station is and down Main Street, that was pretty much from before and all completed. So if I pull back here, this section right here was not here before, so this is closer to the front of the layout, so I have sort of a little square. So we got another, this is another Menards building. It's got a couple of things that are turning at law. There's a restaurant, a shopping, grocery store. And I just sort of made a brick courtyard around it. And over here we've got the hardware store. So a lot of detail in the front of the hardware store here. And it's got some nice detail on the inside of it too when it's all lit up. And just have a parking lot here. What's nice is I found these little figures that were sort of these half figures that fit inside cars that are like convertibles, because they look kind of dumb driving down the road with nobody in them. But these are made by Atlas, little cast figures that don't have any legs on them, so basically they fit right in the cars. So there's, I've been using those in a couple different places. I've got one over here too on this Jaguar. And then right next to the hardware store we have a post office. Again, just plenty of figures. The more figures the better. Just gives it a lot of sort of action and detail on it. And I can't remember last time if I had the grocery store, the IGA, finished or not, but this is that piece of it. I know I had the parking lot done over here. I can't remember if the grocery store was finished. So got details in front of here. Got a Coke machine and things like that that light up. Ice machine. And then in front of that we have a, this is one of the Woodland Scenics trailers that they released, which is kind of neat. So we used a trailer here in front of the icing station just as the office. And then we have a just a road that sort of comes across the other side here. And we got a construction scene going on here. Looks like road crew is doing some work on the road here. So let me switch around here so I can move the camera. So again, I got some flashing barricades here and things like that, just to give it a little detail. The truck has a whole bunch of tools in the back of it. This, of course, is the unloading platform for like the milk cans and the anything else, any other car I would bring up here. And then there's an area right next to it to unload just crates and things like that. There's a Pontiac Aztek, probably one of the ugliest cars ever made, but that's the one actually from the TV show Breaking Bad. And then just finished a little scenery up around the forklift platform and a little parking area here. And I think the last area that I had not finished yet was over here in front. I know we saw the house on fire before, but I hadn't added all the details to it yet, so I added a an ambulance over here, and then a lot more figures for what's going on here in the action. So I just had one fire truck here before, but now I've got multiples in the ambulance. So and again, just more trees and scenery and things like that that were added, but pretty much everything is completed. And we're ready to actually run trains. I think I added a few little things like some more vehicles on the roads and things like that. But it turned out really nice. So I'm pretty satisfied with it. So let me dim the lights a little bit. We'll turn on everything and you can see what it looks like at night. Alright, so you can get a better idea of what it looks like sort of at night with the buildings all lit up. The skyscraper looks really cool. I put a bunch of LEDs throughout the building, like if they were work lights, and then of course the guys doing the welding at the top here stick out a lot more when the lights are lower. But you can see that everything is, I put LEDs everywhere to light up the whole scene. You can see the flashing barricades. So, and then we have the apartment building. So again, I replaced all the incandescents in there with LEDs, and if you notice, I put some on some of the floors that are a little lower illumination, just to give a difference in the different apartments. The OK Used Car, that's one of the Miller Engineering neon signs. And it's a lot easier to see all the automobiles on the inside there when you have the building lit. Same thing with the McDonald's, I put some LEDs in there. And of course, plenty of street lights. The fire station is really bright at night, so that comes with a lot of LEDs with it already. The actual ambulance here, the headlights on it were so bright that it was just blinding you when you looked at that area, so I actually painted those a little bit with some paint on the top of them to lower the illumination on, because they were just like so bright. They were like, you couldn't even look at the building because they were like just blinding your eyes. And then here's the ambulance now on the fire scene. Same thing with this other Menards building. They're really bright as far as the LEDs, so I didn't have to add anything to these. They're completely lit. And then the hardware store, you can see a little more detail on the inside there when it's sort of lit up. I think I had the spinning gas station sign before in my other video. I can't remember, but it does have that LED illumination there. And then there's the post office lit up. They have a LED that actually lights up the flag there. It's kind of cool. And then the trailer, which actually does have some interior graphics in it. Probably can't see it through the camera, but when it's lit up you can see on the inside there. Put one of these modern street lights here I had left over here for this little parking area between the icing station and the forklift loader. And I think everything else I had on my other videos, so all that's still the same. So that's pretty much it. Layout's finished, everything's working perfectly. Had a couple of shorts I had to trace back on some areas as I was like testing everything for its final time, but otherwise I've gotten everything fixed, and we're actually ready to start running some trains, so now we can actually enjoy actually getting some engines on the track and running them through. We'll do a couple of videos on some running sessions. We'll show you all the accessories working, and then we'll do I was thinking of doing maybe a miniature camera on the train just to get the sort of the conductor's point of view on the train as it's running through all these areas and stuff like that. But it's nice to have it all finished and not have to keep working on it. I know a lot of people will work on these things for years and give it all kinds of really fine detail and all kinds of weathering and everything else, but I prefer just to have it sort of ready to go, and for me this is good enough. And it's been a lot of fun working on the layout, but I am kind of glad that it's at a point where it's sort of finished. You've seen all these things in my previous videos, so it's pretty much just a quick scan over the whole system. Some of the areas I added a few little things here and there that probably wouldn't notice from the original videos, but I did add this one little thing back here, which is another one of these Woodland Scenics trailer scenes. So I just added a trailer back here, some pavers, and so that's new, and that's also lit up, so that looks kind of cool at night. Actually, I do see one little issue here. That should be lit up there, that switch tower. So, and I was under there working on something the other day on that, so I think I may have forgotten to connect that back up. So it looks like I have one thing that needs to be fixed. And of course, this is my completed control panel, so with the all the controls and transformers. So let's take a final look underneath the layout, and that'll be it. Alright, here we are under the layout, the sort of the brains and the guts of the layout. You can see it's a wiring nightmare. So this is the end with the control panel, so this is obviously where everything sort of terminates and comes from. But you can see it's just hundreds and hundreds of feet of wire go across this whole layout. I know there's all kinds of schools of thought on this, on how to wire and make it all neat and everything, but to be honest with you, the wiring, the copper wire is not the cheapest, and the amount of wire that you have to run, even on a medium-sized layout like this, is hundreds of feet. And so the shortest distance is between 2 points is a straight line, so I tried to do that, and honestly, it was just, I could probably spend another 5 years trying to neatly route all this wiring. I mean, it goes on and on and on. There's modules everywhere. I mean, it's a lot of stuff. So the underneath of the layout is all clean. I just have some areas where I'm storing some boxes, but you know, because my control panel is on the one side of the layout and I have this center opening, I have to run all the wires across to the other side. So it's a lot of wiring and a lot of stuff going on underneath. It's really not that bad. I've had to trace a couple of problems, a little shorts from side to side. And you just start at the beginning and you just trace the wire back. So it's really not that hard to do, even though it looks like a mess. There's so much going on with the wiring on this side. There's all kinds of course, different things like the street lights, and those arcades all require modules. And you can see I got a long power strip over here with a bunch of adapters on it that control a lot of the Woodland Scenic stuff. But that's sort of the guts of the layout, where it's all happening underneath. But it works, so that's all I care about. But it is a spaghetti nightmare, so to speak, underneath. And so trying to find something, you just have to spend a little time starting at the beginning where the wire comes through from whatever you're trying to diagnose, and then go from there and trace it back. But hopefully I won't have too many problems. Everything's been soldered, solid connections, so there really shouldn't be a reason why I have any kind of major issues. And that's pretty much it. So that's it, everybody. It's my final scenery build video. Thanks everybody for watching through all my different videos I've been posting throughout the last couple of years, and watching the progress of the layout. So now that it's finished, really I'll just have a couple more videos on running, some of the running sessions, show you the trains and the accessories and things, but kind of coming to an end of posting videos for the trains now that we've kind of got everything completed. So thanks a lot for watching, and look for my next video soon.